Hello, everybody. Welcome back to This Life of Ours. Today, we're talking about something that quietly shapes our relationships, our energy, honestly, our entire emotional atmosphere that we live inside of every day. You may have heard me talk about emotional orbit if you're in the membership. This is that. A lot of people are unintentionally living in misery by choosing it. Not even realizing they're choosing it and practicing it. Practicing exhaustion, practicing resentment, practicing emotional rehearsal. Okay, what am I going to feel like? How will I act surprised? Or how am I not going to be too mad? Or what would be just the right amount of disappointment to share? Practicing conversations that circle the same pain point over and over. We do this so often that it starts to feel like identity. I'm someone who's chosen last. I'm never the top pick. I won't ever make it into this next thing. That pain that you feel is real. Hard seasons of life, real. Grief, stress, heartbreak, disappointment, all of that is very, very real. But there's a difference between feeling emotions and building your emotional home inside of those emotions. There's also a difference between connecting with people through honesty and only knowing how to connect through suffering or connecting through misery. That sounds like, will you believe what just happened? Right? Can you believe it? That's connecting over misery. At some point, we have to stop and we have to ask ourselves, who am I when I'm not constantly reacting to life? What energy do I bring into the room? What am I emotionally practicing every single day? You all, what you practice, you get better at, even if it's something that you want to not be doing. If you practice again, you get better at it because your nervous system learns from repetition. Your brain learns from repetition, and the things that you rehearse the most often become the lens that you experience your life because the brain categorizes that as this is important. We do need to pay attention to this. So today, I want to explore emotional identity, emotional habits, and what it looks like to become a source of steadiness, connection, creativity, and grounded joy again in your own life. Let's get into it.
Welcome to This Life of Ours, a space for real conversations, heartfelt insight, and everyday coaching. I'm your host, Coach Emily B., life coach, storyteller, deep feeler, and Vermont hobby farmer. Around here, we talk through what it means to grow, heal, and stay grounded in the life you've got while reaching for the one you want. I'll teach, I'll coach, I'll talk to myself. No matter the episode, I hope you leave feeling a little more connected and a little less alone in this life of yours. I'm so glad you're here.
If I were to ask you which emotion you most consistently bring into a room with you, what would you say? And really think about this because even as I say the question out loud, I again remind myself I'm not going in looking for an emotion. I'm going in and I'm bringing an emotion. I'm contributing to the emotional temperature of the room. How many of you go around looking to see, does this room feel comfortable? Does this room feel welcoming? Does this room feel like I belong here? Does this room feel right for me? Does this room feel accepting of me? Never really looking at what am I offering the room? What do I get to contribute here? Many of us bond through suffering because it feels familiar and immediate. It's always right in front of us. Emotional familiarity is not the same with emotional health. So if you're thinking that, yeah, I do know what's going to happen here, or I do know what to expect over here, and you're thinking that that is emotionally steady, emotionally healthy, it's not. If the majority of your conversations revolve around what's wrong, who hurt you, how exhausted you are, how unfair your life feels, you may unintentionally be building your emotional home in misery, in suffering. When you repeat those same types of conversations, when you revolve your all of your connection around what's not right or what's hard or what's missing, your nervous system starts to memorize that identity. If you're anything like me, when you start doing this and really start working with yourself, the whole concept of the nervous system feels out of reach. It feels like, yeah, okay, can I really influence that? Yeah, you can. You can. It's absolutely wild. To someone like me, anyway, who basically grew up under a rock in Vermont, I don't think very big, or I didn't think I thought very big until I realized, yes, you do. You just didn't realize that those thoughts were things that you could believe, that you could put action behind. You didn't know that you had access to rewriting your brain, to stabilizing your nervous system. You didn't know. No, I know. And I want you all to know this is not some like far off thing you can't reach. This is something you can absolutely impact in your life today. Whatever you are thinking about, whatever you're connecting about, whatever you're engaging with all day long, your brain then begins to look for more evidence of that thing to support it. This is like if you go car shopping and you decide, I want to look at, let's see, how about we look at I can't think of something, Nissan Pathfinder. Okay, let's go look at Pathfinders. All of a sudden, what do you see on the road? There's a Pathfinder, there's a Pathfinder, there's a Path. I didn't know there were so many Pathfinders. Yes, because we weren't tuning into that. You weren't looking for evidence of that. Now you're tuned in. Now you notice there are Pathfinders out there. So here's what we want to tune into. We want to tune into the thinking that's asking us, why don't people bring better energy into my life? Why are they so grumpy? How come they're never smiling? Instead of any of that, we want to start asking, what energy am I consistently practicing and contributing? If you're somebody who's going into every room looking for it to energize you, what you're contributing is a pull on the energy. You're not contributing to the energy of the room. That changes the experience. That changes the experience. So, what energy are you consistently practicing and contributing? Back to that very first question that I asked you, what emotion do you most consistently bring into a room? It doesn't even matter if nobody's in the room. I want you to think about, what energy do I carry with me most often? If you're not sure, if energy feels out of reach to you, kind of like nervous system work felt out of reach to me for a little while, ask about how you feel. How do you feel when you walk into a room? How do you want to feel when you walk into a room? What would you say your top 3 feelings are throughout a week? Are you mostly excited, engaged, and present? Are you mostly distraught and overwhelmed and disconnected? What are you? If someone were to say, Emily, when I think of Emily, the top 3 feelings I think are boom, 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 what would people say about you? And this is not so that they can judge you. This is so that you can get a reflection. Yeah, what energy do I bring? So that you can see that you do have power here. You're not at the mercy of what's available in the room. You're at the mercy of what you're willing to contribute to the room. That little thing in the brain that looks for the pathfinder, that's your reticular activating system, your RAS. It helps filter what you notice most often. So if you constantly rehearse frustration or drama or resentment or disappointment, your brain gets better at spotting more of it and will tell you, yeah, that there, that's resentment. She doesn't like you. That over there, yeah, you remember that? You did that wrong 5 years ago, too. It will remember those things. If you start practicing gratitude and creativity and possibility, connection, movement, grounded joy. Your brain starts noticing opportunities for those experiences too. And what it notices last, it keeps looking for, or what you leave it on. If you leave your brain on a question, like, I wonder if this is possible, it will go look for evidence. Is that possible? I don't know. Let's see. That might make it possible. That would definitely make it more challenging. If we tell ourselves that's not possible for me, we're going to look for evidence of that. It's not possible because of that, and oh, that would probably make it hard too. Look at all these reasons. What you rehearse grows stronger. So I want you to reflect. Who are you when you are not emotionally rehearsing your problems? Who are you? And if you have like I don't know, you're not alone. You're not alone. So many people get caught up in living in the problem that they forget there's a whole life and person and personality and dreams and desires underneath these problems. And some of these problems do not even need a solution. They're just things to talk about. So what lights you up? What energizes you? What makes you feel more alive? That's where you want to spend your thought power, your energy, your time. The time when you're thinking, daydreaming, wondering if, going over conversations, replaying conversations in your own head. Make it be about these questions. Hey, what lights you up? Last time we talked about this, you thought it was that. Did you forget anything? What energizes you? What makes you feel more alive? You all, these are questions that will move you forward. These are questions that will invite connection over growth instead of connection over misery. This doesn't mean you can't have the casual girlfriend conversation where it's like, I have to tell you what I saw today at the pickup line. People are going to connect over those things. They are. Because those are things that we see in the world. We make it mean something, and then we want to share that with somebody. But if you are connecting over points of frustration or misery more often than you're connecting over growth, you are creating that emotional home for yourself of misery. And life will always feel uphill. So to get out of misery, to get into growth, we have to be willing to face a little more misery, which is there's going to be people in that circle of misery that do not come with you. So yes, you will lose connections. You will lose friendships. You also will gain friendships and connections. Not better, but different. Different connections that will support you in what you're working on now. What a shame it would be, and I rarely use that word shame in coaching, but what a shame it would be to live your whole life through the assumptions and through the misery of our own observations and the observations of our closest connections, rather than through the belief that we can make anything out of this situation. Anything is still possible unless we tell ourselves it is not. So I'm here to tell you it's possible. That thing you want to do, that place you want to go to, it is possible. But you've got to be willing to walk out of the misery first. Find new connections. Find a new story to tell about yourself and what you're doing. It's worth it. It is worth it. All right, you all, I have a closing quote for you today to take with you. Live as if life were created for relationship and joy. Get out of problem solving. Get out of it. Allow yourself some relationship. Allow yourself some joy. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for being here. If something in today's episode resonated with you, we'd love for you to share it with a friend or leave a review. It helps others find this space. You can find full episode transcripts and learn more about our amazing team of coaches at www.birchandstonecoaching.com. Until next time, stay rooted, stay resilient, and keep rising. This life of ours is worth showing up for.